Peace, 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 family. I'm doing the morning message today like this. Normally I don't do it like this, but this is the morning message. And I woke up late, so this is how I'm doing the morning message. you know, I had several different morning messages that I wanted to put out. But I realized we could talk about religion all we want. And we can express where religion comes from. We can express the damage religion have done to our people. We can express religion that it's not ours per se. But I realize we need to talk about our children. We need to talk about modern times, dealing with 20, 30, 40 years ago. How, when we was children, how we were raised, and how the children today are being raised. So before I get into the morning message, let's pay all due respects to the Creator. The sun rises. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Amun. Okay. I have the ISIS papers here. ISIS papers by Dr. Frances Cress Wellington. She died in 2016. She passed away. She was an outstanding doctor. Her philosophy was clearly about our African people. She lived it with her dying breath. She also studied under the tutelage of Neely Fuller. If a lot of you don't understand who is Neely Fuller is the author of the Pacific Book, which he has many books, but there's one book that he put out a long time ago, and it wasn't again. This time when it rose, it made an impact. I have this book, and I hope many of you have this book. This book is called the United Independent Compensatory Co-System Concept. Like I said, I have this book. It's a textbook, the workbook for thought, speech, and action for victims of racism, white supremacy. Neely Fuller. This is one of the original copies. This is the format. Neely Fuller been around for years. And he also taught her. Because in the 70s, people thought he was crazy. What he was coming out and what he was saying. Literally. So now, here's his book, risen again. But this time, people are like, wow, if you did this in the 70s, and only a few people got what he was saying. That's how deep, subconsciously, we was following the system. We were walking around believing in the lies. And we trained ourselves to believe the lies. Our parents trained us to believe the lies. But then slowly we started breaking off. Because that revolution and new historians and new scholars started popping up. Like you had Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine. You had a lot of different scholars just coming up in the 80s, early 90s. You have master teachers like Ashok Wajar. A lot of teachers. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I'm just giving a few of the ones I've seen, read and studied their books, their documents. John Henry Clark, Dr. Benja Hossein, There's a lot of them out there. There's names I'm not even saying. That's been here long before these other guys, man. No, the reason why I'm saying this is because as parents now, what are we giving our children? Because they gave us information. Some of us used it. Now, when I was coming up in my household, that information wasn't there. But what we had was strength and durability. My mom's, who's a goddess, very powerful. My father, very powerful. And we grew up in a Jehovah's Witness. I mean, the Jehovah's Witnesses served its purpose. It served its purpose. In a strange kind of way, it served its purpose, but it wasn't really for us. Because if you don't know the history of Jehovah's Witness, you just walk right on in there, or they help you walk right in there and begin to introduce you to their system. And then you believe their system without a shadow of a doubt. And then begin to teach your children the system. Now the key word is children. I remember when I was young, I wanted to move out my mother's house. I remember I wanted to move out my mother's house when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. I mean, I was adventurous. And I found out I wasn't the only one that's like that. I wasn't the only one that lived like that. Wanted to go out and be adventurous. And I did. I was adventurous, and I went out there and did what I needed to do to live an abundant life. And I took some lumps and bumps because it's a learning experience. Some I didn't want to take, but you take and you learn it. What happens is you become a thicker skinned person. You mentally become thicker. Psychologically you become thicker. And physically you become stronger. You'll be able to handle issues. You'll be able to handle things in life that comes towards you. You'll be able to see things and be able to stay focused on what you need to do. Going forward, now, these children, I wonder if we spoil them to the point they're scared to go out and do anything for themselves. Did we spoil them too much that they don't want to be adventurous? They want to be adventurous and be able to do whatever they want and run back home. A lot of them don't want to experience living on their own. They want the spoils of what's on our back, but they don't want to go out there and really push it. And on the kids that you see out there that's out there working hard is the ones that they got to do that. You know what I'm saying? And there's some parents like, you won't go out there and work. A lot of y'all don't want to go out there and work. You want somebody to feed you, clothe you. And you sit back and just play dumb all the time. I mean, we talk about millions of these children today. And they walk around almost with so much as a subdued attitude. Like you're supposed to give it to me. I mean, it's incredible. Some of them work and act like they have a slight little problem why they gotta work. Listen here. I wish I could own my own business. Literally. Thriving. Everything's going successful. But guess what? If I own my own business, then my child or my children, you're going to go to work. Because that's exactly what I'm going to do. Teach you how to live abundantly. teach you? What am I supposed to do? You must live abundantly. But some of y'all, you thinking it's all about, oh, I want to have a good time with my life. I just want to have a good time. Listen, you're having a good time, that's fine and dandy, but that's not what life is all about 24/7. And then some of you get your little attitude. You get your little attitude real quickly, real fast. Have you seen these children sometimes? It's not that they're bad kids, because a lot of them are not bad. A lot of these children are good kids. They good kids. It just seems like that. Because especially when they get older, like when they get between 16 and up. But I remember when I was 16, 17. When I was 17 years old, I was living in Calico, New York. I was living in Calico, New York at 17 years old. Okay? If anybody heard of Liberty, Monticello, that's upstate. Okay? New York. 3.5 hours, 2.5 hour ride, matter of fact. Living on my own. 2.5 years. Okay? It's no lie. I got history, boy. I wore my shoes out. I wore my shoes out. Trust me. Okay? I remember my cousin and I went to South Carolina. We went to do some welding. We lived there, South Carolina, Spartanburg. Okay? Now that's where we're from. My mom's, but we had to do welding. Was it Greensburg? I don't know if it was Greenburg or back to South Carolina. And we wanted it too. We did that welding. We had to come back because he caught himself on fire. This is adventurous things. There's nobody holding our hand. We was living in this house with these two Mexicans, man. For real. Got up, boom, he called me up and says, yo, we can make this money as a welder in South Carolina. Let's go out there. Got up and went, man. No unions, no nothing. You was on your own. You worked from, what was it, 7 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Cutting metal all day. Hot. Hot. These kids don't seem to, have that type of venture. I went out there, not just because of the money, but more for the adventure. I have a welding background, too. A lot of y'all don't know that. I have a welding background. I believe we need to push our children a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? We help them. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of our times our children seem not to want to help themselves. And what I mean by that is that, especially when you go out there and you just fooling around a little too much, you're not being responsible. Okay? When you're not being responsible and then things happen and then you want to run back home like your house is, like the home is supposed to be the hospital, or the doctor, the Medicaid, and whatever case may be. But if you'd have been listening from the beginning, you wouldn't be in the position that you're in. Now, when I was coming back, when I went out there and did what I was doing, whatever, shit, my father was like, you better bring your mess back in the house. That's real. See the difference? We couldn't bring our mess back in the house. We had to deal with that. How a lot of you kids, you go out there and you fighting, and you want your whole family to come out there fighting. When we was fighting when I was young, we had to handle our business. We were knuckling it up. You know what I'm saying? You win some, you lose some. Nobody was going around grabbing guns and blowing each other away. You know what I'm saying? That's why some of our children are locked up. And then their whole life changes after that. This is the morning message. What have we done to our children? Did we spoil them too much? Did we weaken them? We got to really sincerely think about that. Are we overprotecting them? This is Chocolate AMUN-RA. Peace. Peace.